So about 3 years ago, my business partner called me and was like, hey, found the perfect property. And I'm like, okay, well, what makes this farm perfect? What makes it unique? And he was like, nothing. Has no food plots, no watering hole, nothing really specific that makes it really stand out. So I was like, okay, well, why is this the perfect farm? Why is Homegrown gonna start from this farm? And he was like, it's a clean slate. Basically, we can mold it to how we want it. Essentially, that became the cornerstone and the starting point of Homegrown Outfitters. So basically, we call it the landing strip, and how we got that name is if you follow the tree line, the property is almost 2 miles long, and Plains landing strip, it's pretty long, so that's kind of how we got the name for that, and kind of just stuck and we went with it. So going into year 2, is when we started to see the progress of all the work we were doing. We weren't done yet, but we started to see the results from the designs, the food that was going in. Our first deer on that property was actually a deer we called Packer. And he was a really special deer. He really kick-started off for Homegrown on that farm and for what was to come. So basically what separates Homegrown is that we own every single farm that we have, and the clients are basically reinvesting in themselves because every dollar we make, we put back into our business, whether it's renovations, whether it's acquiring more farms, everything we do is for our clients. So we've had a few years of intel from the Cuddy back cameras, and we know for a fact that there's a lot of target bucks on this farm.
Homegrown Outfitters is a place where dreams are made. It's late season, December, Buffalo County, and I have a muzzleloader tag in my pocket. One of the many reasons that I decided to hunt this farm was due to the fact that I knew through past intel off the Cuddy Link system, we knew that this farm was already holding good deer. There was a nice 6x5 that I would be more than pleased to go after and take, but we also knew as the days and weeks went on late season, more and more deer come into this south-facing, tons of food, tons of sanctuary cover, thermal cover. Every year, more and more deer show up into this farm. So the opportunities continually grow as the days go on. Another great advantage to the landing strip is the way the topography lays out and hunting the lower half of it only. By utilizing the dried up creek bottom, we can come through the bottom of that, access a lot of the plots, come in right off the road and a couple of other different spots, and we can make a very direct line to the stands and come in very undetected by any of the deer that are bedded up top. Because we have all bottom access, in addition to leveraging the creek bed that's dried up in the fall time, Homegrown has also taken it a step further and put in a screening system that doubles down on being able to get in and out with the sets undetected. These food plots were strategically carved out from scratch and designed to maximize deer movement and flow, while also ensuring bulletproof access and precision stand placement for our hunters. Plot 1, it's a little more steeper terrain right there where it was carved out. It's a great early season plot that we put in. It's got a giant watering hole at the very front of it, right before it steps out into agricultural part of the farm. That watering hole makes the deer move in front of the redneck blind so that you can bow hunt out of it as much as you could gun hunt out of it. Plot 2, this is the Arnold plot. The way that the plot that we're hunting got its name was from a buck that we had pictures of after the excavation of the new plot that looked like Arnold Schwarzenegger. I had shoulders for days on it. It was a great deer. Usually is beans and a winter blend is planted into this food plot. Another one that's got 2 rednecks on it. Once again, allowing you plenty of options depending on what the Cuddy Link system is showing you. Plot number 3, which has been nicknamed the Packer plot. This kind of got its name from a little bit of a rivalry with some of the homegrown staff and their love for the Vikings. It also feeds down into a watering hole right at the mouth that leads into the Holy Cross plot, which is kind of the center of the entire farm. that shares part of that bean field, but also has its own cornfield off to the side that leads into another switchgrass plot that follows you all the way down to the 5th food plot, which is a combination of corn, beans, and winter late season radishes, turnips, and that goes into more switchgrass that goes back to the far 6th food plot, which is clover again. So now that you've got these 6 food plots that go west to east, another piece that was put into it by the HGO staff that is a game changer really and honestly is that they did a trail system that cuts in through the woods. And so if there was an access needed, you can still come in through the woods, but it also allows these deer to move east to west under the cover and they feel safer going from food plot to food plot to food plot. We found that these bucks love to run this trail system and scent check these little food plots, the field itself for does when it's during the rut, and we can watch them on the pictures as they come in. You can see them going from plot to plot to plot to plot, which is an awesome advantage to making a strategy to get on a particular deer on this farm. In 2019, I believe there was 2 very nice trophy deer that were shot out of it. One on the west end, one in the central part. Fast forward to 2020, we had another great deer that was shot on this farm during the gun season. Even with those type of deer being shot off a farm, a lot of times that would shut it down. This farm just keeps producing more and more. It's almost kind of like a next man up theory, is that a trophy deer is taken or shot out of it, and another one just shows up to take its place. Our target buck is a 6x5 that has clearly established himself as one of the dominant bucks on this farm. He has a big frame, long brows, and sweeping beams, all which complement his large body size. After reviewing the cameras, it was evident that we knew that these deer were feeding late into the morning. So instead of trying to force a morning hunt and risk bumping the deer off the food source, our strategy was to slip in midday using the habitat design to our advantage and let the deer come to us in the evening. We get into the stand, high expectations. All we really see is some younger deer. Deer movement's pretty slow. We're very confident that these deer are here, but they don't need to come down to the food plots right away. They can sit in the sun, south facing. Food's not that far away, water's not that far away. We end the night with, I'm gonna say a handful of deer, most of them in the younger age brackets, all within shooting distance. So that was a booster to know that if it did walk out and it did show itself, it was gonna be within range. Day 2, it didn't change much. It was still the same thing, although we did see a really great buck that's gonna be an up-and-comer, no doubt about it.
But these are the kind of deer that we try to keep on these farms and do the low pressure and everything else with. These woods grows into be the giants that everybody knows Buffalo County to have. Still got some plenty of time to go, and we'll see if the other guns show up, but we like our odds so far.
What we did find out though at the end of day 2 was our deer had changed his pattern. And the only way you find that out is by using a cutting link system. Really at the end of the day, it just gives you up-to-date information. He had went from the Arnold plot and for some reason he changed to go over to the Packer plot. So the next day we made that decision. So day 3 comes, we get into the Packer plot and we're like, we'll get him tonight. We didn't see a single deer. It was just a total drain down. And I thought, well, We got 2 more days, so let's stick with it. Even though it was unseasonably warm, I knew we just had to keep grinding it out and our target buck would eventually show himself. We have the intel, we are in his core area, and there's everything he needs right here. He feels comfortable with the amount of other deer that are coming already to this food plot during the daylight hours, and it's just a matter of time before he makes the same mistake. And sure enough, we looked up on the side of the hill and there was our 6x5.
There he is, right there. Right up the side of the hill.
He was cruising along the side of the hill, didn't give us an opportunity. We didn't push it, we didn't try to stop him or nothing like that. So we knew he was around, which was good, and he wanted to be into this food plot.
Last day muzzleloader season, Wisconsin. Still in Buffalo County. Still on the same farm. We're that much closer to him. Had a cool encounter with him last night. Just kind of side-hilled us up in the timber. Never came down into the food plot. Didn't offer a good shot. So we're hoping tonight he changes up. Comes back to his normal pattern of coming down into this food plot. I had over 20 deer when we left here last night. So they are definitely hitting this right now with all the food. There's been zero pressure on this farm. We've done a good job getting in and out. It is going to be the night, I think. I've said that 4 nights in a row, but maybe this night's different.
With probably 15 minutes left to light, our 6x5 showed up.
Buck right here. Yeah, that's him. It's a shooter. Shaking up a little bit here. That's the first buck I've killed in 3 years for sure. Man, he's gonna be a dandy looking deer. I'm gonna give it a little bit of time here.
There are always those couple of people that you call right away after you shoot a deer and are successful on your hunt. As hunters, it's as much about the experience and being able to share it with those people as it is about the success of the hunt by itself.
He's dead. I shot. He's good. I think he's a good one. It's been 3 years since I tagged buck. But I wanted to call you and let you know. All right, I love you.
It was a relief. It was 3 years of waiting for the right deer. It was 1 week of almost surgically dissecting a farm, a deer's movement, and trying to put together the best plan to get into a mature animal's bedroom, backyard, home range, and try to outsmart them. And when you do it, I think the accomplishment is that more than anything.
Good. He's good. Give me a hug, man. Yes, congrats. Oh, yeah. Look at this thing. Oh, boy. Woo. Hold that thing up for us, man. Please. Congrats. Hey, buddy. He's good. Oh, he's a great deer. Wow, what is he? Yeah. He's got all the meat. He's got good brows on him.
Good brows, good spread. He's a great deer.
He was just a great deer. I mean, I was super proud of him for a muzzleloader. He's my personal best muzzleloader. My first Wisconsin deer that I've ever shot. I couldn't be prouder behind him. And knowing the work that went in by not only me, but homegrown outfitters, the land development, it all came together. It was truly a team effort. And you can't do it by yourself sometimes. You need the help of everybody. The harvest is a great ending to the story, but the grind leading up to the harvest is what makes the story.